All right, man, we back. Soldier Boy and Marvel this time. This is going to be a discussion video. This is going to be another discussion video where I give you guys my ideas, thoughts, opinions of how Soldier Boy as a character could work in Marvel Comics. And if this video gets enough traction, I'll do a what if story about it. And if I do go that route, what comic arcs would you guys like to see him included in, and why? You guys let me know that in the comment section. So doing this, we all know that the character of Soldier Boy is, a ripoff of Captain America. Clearly inspired by Captain America. It's pretty obvious. So with that in mind, we could begin his origin story in the World War II era, as a parallel with Steve Rogers. But I personally don't think that that's really a good idea. So I'll tell you guys where I think that his era origin should really begin, in my opinion. I think the best time to introduce Soldier Boy in the Marvel storyline is the Vietnam era. Have him as like another super soldier project, which is an easy task. It's not far-fetched at all because there were many projects, super soldier projects in Marvel Comics. I mean, even the Sentry was based off a super soldier serum program, for those of you who don't know. So we could have Soldier Boy as another super soldier with similar abilities as Steve Rogers. Maybe this serum made him a little stronger, or maybe it made him a little weaker, but it still gave him the similar abilities that he used, the similar abilities to Steve Rogers, Captain America, that he uses and used in the Vietnam War, right? And we could still make him like, a bully, a-hole, like he is in the Boys TV show, because he sucks in the comics. In the Boys comics, Soldier Boy sucks. And we can still make him a bully, an a-hole, like he is on the Boys TV show. And then have it to where a mission happens where he gets maybe a lot of civilians killed, or maybe a mission happens where he gets a lot of his own soldiers killed, or, something like that, or some bioweapon is unleashed and a lot of people are injured because he wasn't taking it seriously, or something like that, because he wasn't taking things seriously in the payback on the show, right? And then Nick Fury calls him out on this, and an argument ensues, or a confrontation that eventually leads to a confrontation where he begins to give Nick Fury the bully beatdown, right? And in this verse, I think the perfect person that intervenes to take him down would be Blue Marvel, who is underrated himself, by the way. And we can give these guys a backstory, like a origin story, or like a rivalry or something like that between Blue Marvel and Soldier Boy, if you guys want to see that. And we can do their backstory association several different ways. Like we can have it to where Blue Marvel, Soldier Boy, and Nick Fury were on some special task force. They were all in the same special task force. Or something where, they never got along. Or we can have it to where, like in the comic books, Blue Marvel's heroics were deleted and hidden from history because of, the racist era that it was. He was first active in in that era. And Soldier Boy would get all the credit for their missions. Or we can make it to where they didn't know each other and just ended up on the same unit for one mission that went horribly wrong. But either way, the person who I think should intervene to defeat Soldier Boy in this scenario is Blue Marvel. Alright, and y'all can let me know what version of that would y'all want to see on an origin story for this situation that sounds the best. Y'all can let me know that in the comment section. Right? So the face-off happens, right? Now we can have the Blue Marvel versus Soldier Boy fight. We can have that play out a couple ways, that will end in the same result regardless. We can have them have some type of good fight that's epic and drawn out. But thing is, if we went that route, then we would have to make Soldier Boy. That would mean that Soldier Boy took like a super soldier serum that would have had to have been like on Sentry level strength, because Blue Marvel is strong as hell. Like, bro fights Hyperion. Bro has fought the Hulk. He's easily one of the strongest heroes in Marvel Comics. Honestly, I think that's why he doesn't get used often, because he is that strong. So anyway, I don't think we should go with that route in this Marvel scenario. Instead, I think that we should probably go with this route, which is that, maybe Blue Marvel steps on Soldier Boy, hands him a humble ass whooping, which bruises his ego in the process because, you know, he was a bully after all. And if we're being true to his character, then yeah, he would be a bully. And after his defeat, he is given to a special team for custody, like some type of team for custody. Now this team then puts him on ice and does a series of experiments on him over the years in hopes of turning a super soldier into an ultra soldier. And the people that do this to Soldier Boy, it could be anybody. It could be Hydra, it could be S.H.I.E.L.D., it could be the Weapon X people, or someone I haven't even thought of that y'all can put in the comments that are from the comics of Marvel. But regardless of whatever the science team that decides to operate on him, we choose the outcome would be the same, right? He would become an agent of that organization, tasked with various missions similar to Winter Soldier, when Soldier Boy does assassinations, captures, and everything under the sun, right? So he would be like, you know, similar to Winter Soldier, an operative doing what he does. But in the process of them experimenting on him for all those years, right, we can still give him that same power that he got, like in the Boys TV show, right? So I'm still going to give him his chest blast ability, just like on the TV show counterpart. But this time I think his blast is, you know, able to affect mutations or something like that. So we can say he was made as like a mutant hunter, like a mutant, what's the word I'm looking for? A mutant purifier or something. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but his blast affects people with power mutations, or with mutations. Now we can go make his power two things, right? We can go two routes with this power. We can make his power super strong, like super OP, and have it to where if he blasts you, you'll lose your powers completely forever. Or we could kind of nerf the ability and make it to where his blast suppress the mutations of the mutants, or suppresses the mutations, you know, for a while, making them unable to use their various mutant abilities. Or we can go with a third option where his powers do both of these things, depending on how long he's able to charge his blast or some other factor, right? Y'all let me know what y'all think should be the best route to take concerning this new blast power, right? On how strong it should be, or should I make it an amalgamation of both of those things? You know, there's a lot of feedback. See, when I do these discussion videos, I want a lot of feedback in the comments. I think I'm going to open up my community thing too, where my viewers, my subscribers and members and stuff can post their ideas, and then my audience can give feedback loops. I've seen Comics Explained do that, and I thought that was pretty dope, so I'll probably try to see how to do that. But lastly, I think we should give Soldier Boy an adamantium shield instead of a vibranium one like Captain America to finish off this version of Soldier Boy's arsenal. You know, and before I go, one thing I want to discuss with y'all is who should he have interactions with the most in this Marvel comic scenario. I definitely could see him, you know, beefing with Wolverine often, you know, with a rivalry or something. But who else would he interact with a lot? And who would be his friends? Who would be his enemies? And even a love interest, or love interests, you know, plural, because, you know, Soldier Boy gets around. Y'all let me know in the comments, man. You know, I was thinking about this idea after I watched the season finale of The Boys, which, if I'm being honest, you know, could have been better. But I still enjoyed Soldier Boy's character in general. I thought it was kind of interesting, especially compared to the comics. Soldier Boy sucked in the comics. But anyways, man, y'all let me know what y'all think. You know, I'll catch y'all on the next one. I like these discussion videos. Peace.